Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gotham 2. Pun intended. Not TWO as in two, but TOO as in two, as in as well, as in also Gotham 2, as in this is the funniest channel name in history. Here you get me a little bit more relaxed. It's a little bit of a smaller channel because people watch the main. They don't really want to watch the second one. And here I cover everything auxiliary and other things that happen in the chess world that I don't necessarily have the time, energy, or bandwidth to cover on the main channel. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about why chess is broken, why the traditional ELO system is a farce, and our spotlight is going to be on the Chess Olympiad. The Olympics of chess are happening right now. They are in Budapest, in Hungary. All the countries are playing against each other. There's an open, there's a women's, and in the first few rounds, there have been monumental levels of upsets, meaning lower-rated players by 500 points even are beating people higher rated than them, including grandmasters, multiple grandmasters. And it basically shows you that the ELO system doesn't make sense anymore. And I don't know how we're going to remedy this. I don't know how we're going to fix this. Earlier this year, or maybe it was in 2023, FIDE, the international governing body, literally issued a boost of ELO. Like, you just arbitrarily gained ELO, and people in India gained ELO because the Indian ecosystem for chess is also totally all over the place because they all play each other all the time, but their actual skill level relative to the world is higher than their ELO. So it's a very common phenomenon with Indian players especially to travel abroad and gain like 300 to 400 points. Just take rating. I lost to one of them actually in an Italian tournament in August of this year. So ELO is just a really fascinating phenomenon. In this video, we're going to cover a bunch of games from the Olympiad, including, unfortunately, one by my coach. My coach was the victim of an upset, and you know, I gotta cover it. I gotta be fair. If all my losses are on a spotlight, coach, I'm sorry. I gotta put you in the video. Here we go. So, where to start? We should start in round number one. This is my coach's game. We'll start with round number one. In this game, Andre Mendez from Panama rated 2,100, which is strong, but 600 points lower than his opponent, Levon Aronian, who's one of the best players of the last 20 years. In this game, Levon played the Sicilian, which he doesn't play that often, but, you know. And he went into the Rossolimo with bishop b5, and he said afterward that, you know, knight f6 and then g6, which is a line that Fabiano told him to play. So they're Olympic teammates, him and Fabiano Caruana. And what you do is you put your knight on h5, you play like this to open up the light squared bishop, and, you know, here white castled, and black played knight g7. This is actually all normal. This is all fine. White goes d3 here. He spends 6 minutes. And basically here, black can play bishop g4, black can develop the bishop, and oftentimes give it up. Then black can put the knight there, develop this bishop and castle. You can also put the knight there, and then this bishop is a little bit passive, but it's probably fine. Instead of that, Levon tried to improvise. I mean, Levon's a very good player, so he's like, you know what, I want to play h6. Which, as you can see, the computer's already like, are you stupid? What is wrong with you? Why would anybody in their right mind play h6? I think Levon came up with a plan that he's going to play h6, he's going to play g5, he's going to play bishop f5, and then he's going to put his knight on e6. So if white does absolutely nothing, then black will get a great position. Levon's not wrong. This is a perfect setup because your bishop is now out of the blockade. And then here, and then you can even launch a same side king side attack. You can also castle, you can play queen side, you maybe even castle long. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. The problem with h6 is that inherently it's too slow, and Mr. Mendez punishes by playing knight to e4, b6 rook e1, and now has all sorts of tactical ideas here against Levon's king. Levon broke traditional chess principles. He tried to be a little bit too creative, and all of a sudden, he is completely busted. Like, white just played principled chess, targeted his pieces. Levon goes queen to c7 here, and suddenly g4 is on the board, and Levon is completely lost in 13 moves. He even said in an interview, if he was not playing on a team event, he would resign in this position. The reason why g4 is just simply winning is because, let's say black moves the knight. All white does now is take, and plays this move knight to d6 check. utilizing this rook. So you cannot take, because it would be a discovered check on the king, and then the queen is hanging. And if knight h4 and you play, I don't know, let's say king d7, I take on f7, your rook is hanging, right? Let's say you move the rook, I play e6, and maybe I centralize the, I don't know, I could play whatever I can even play h3. And black is just losing. I mean, h6 is hanging. I guess you don't even, you do have, I don't know, whatever. You don't have to play h3. But my point being, g4 is winning. Levon goes queen b7 and just gives up a knight. He's just straight up down a knight for a pawn. I mean, it's not even complicated. White plays d4 because I think at this point, white is like, what the I'm beating a 27-30. What is going on? And now, you know, he plays knight b3. Good move. He's also doing very well on the clock, 33 minutes. Like, he's not panicking. Bishop d2, everything is good. And here, the way you win with white is you simply sacrifice a knight. Simply is, you know, it's easier to sacrifice his pieces. But the point is that if black takes, you play knight c5, and you bring your rook, and you checkmate. And, you know, queen b5 is probably what black has to play. You can even trade here. Bishop a5 is winning, because the rook can now no longer defend the bishop. If not queen b5, like if queen c8, you play rook e3, rook b3, rook c1. I mean, you just simply cannot stop the attack. Your king is completely exposed. Black is lost. e6, even rook b3 is probably winning. I mean, everything is winning. Knight a6, bishop a5, knight c7, like rook c1, all the pieces. Rook b8, got like everything is winning. But here, white gets nervous and goes back to get out of the pin, and then, you know, and then goes forward again, because now the queen is under attack, and now he plays rook up, which everything is good, but suddenly he's down to 9 minutes, and then, you know, knight f1, and here Levon finds a beautiful defensive resort, because he's 27-30, and he plays this, and after b5, queen a5, there is this nice trick, bishop b4, which is really gross. And the point is that after queen b4, c5, this is mate, and your queen is lost. But actually, after rook h3, cb4, and bishop b4, white is still winning, positionally. I mean, white has 3 pieces for a queen, and it's still a winning position for white, but probably not against the 27-30, given the circumstances. And Levon, you know, stayed in the game long enough to get into an equal endgame, an endgame where it's equal just because his pawns are so weak. But and now the material is restored, but you're going to lose an endgame to a 2700 when you have 2 minutes versus 34. And yeah, I mean, they go into the rook endgame. Levon, of course, you know, 2700 demonstrates a level of class, and his opponent blunders h4. And Levon could have taken on f2, but even this is already losing, and the king is hunted out. And now there's just simply a million checkmates, and the h pawn is promoting. So crazy game. I mean, Levon was completely lost, completely lost, but he manages to hold it. Now, not everybody held it. I showed a game on the main channel, 1900 drew Shahriar Mamedyarov. Here, Abnar Faru defeats David Solano out 1678 versus 2248. This is unbelievable. Queen's Gambit declined. Exchange Queen's Gambit declined. And this just shows like how far, like again, ELO system doesn't make sense. Not reflective whatsoever of people's playing strengths. Now there is an unlimited number of online resources. This channel is one of them, by the way. I mean, a lot of you learn chess, not this channel, the main channel. Sorry, forgot who I'm talking to. You know, but people also have courses. They have Zoom calls with coaches. You know, and now they have so many resources, so many games to analyze from. And in this game, you know, white charged in at his opponent. He took a pawn and played like this, and then played rook to a4 and blundered simply that the pawn could take on g2 in between move. And the game is just lost. Like, I think it was maybe overlooked that after pawn f3, rook f3, you know, white maybe thought that they were fine here, but they're simply knight c2. So Solano maybe missed something, and one mistake generally follows another. Plays rook a4, and now there's just a Zwischenzug. In between move, another pawn is captured. You cannot take on g2 with the king, because the knight hangs, and after knight c2, you lose this pawn, and then you're going to lose a lot more. So now white plays here. Knight c2 still comes in, and all of a sudden, you can't even take the pawn because of the fork. And black is threatening knight e3, rook f1, period. Insanity. Completely insane. And white is down 40 minutes on the clock to a 1678. Of course, clearly, The skill level is a little bit different. Rook f2, knight a1, and black just cleans up, just absolutely cleans up all the pieces. No nerves. Here, that you can't even if you get nervous here, it's like impossible to lose, you know? And look at this, b5. Just the only, and yeah, beautiful. Sacks the rook for the knight, 3 pawns up. Just don't get mated, yeah? King g6, don't get mated. b3, b2, now the rook has to stay defending, and now you just push the h-pawn. King comes up. Again, don't get mated, and too many pawns to stop. h3, rook c2, and here Solana resigned because h2 isn't coming, and your rook cannot stop all the pawns. Just an incredible game. I mean, 16-7. Are you kidding me? This is, if anything, this video should inspire you because, I mean, the folks are just popping off. This is wild stuff, man. And the women's side as well. 21 to 15-39 from Kuwait. I guess that's Aisha Ali versus Lily Toth from Hungary, the host nation. This one was a tense game. It was an Italian. Queen e7, I don't know. I've never seen this move in my life. Also, again, Queen e7 with 5 minutes spent. I don't think this is prep. I think black is rated 1540. Like, I think at the end of the day, the ratings are reflective maybe to an extent of knowledge. But, you know, and like black, okay, has an early disadvantage because she doesn't know the intricacies of the Italian at an expert level. But then plays quite normally. White apparently should have attacked the center to try to open it up because black has a queen and a king there. Lily instead does this. And of course, black is developing in a very non-standard way. And, you know, like, white is playing very logically, damaging the pawn structure, queen h5 check. But actually, the king on d7 is very safe. And white kind of underestimated that. And I think, listen, professional fighters always say the toughest fight is one that is a lot harder than you expected. It's not like, you know, you go into a fight and you're scared. It's like you thought a fight was going to be easier and all of a sudden it's not. And I think this game is a perfect example. Like, white is trying to attack, but white is actually bleeding material. I mean, knight c2 is going to fall. And knight c2 is played, but actually at the wrong moment. She shouldn't have allowed white to take on e6. But the king is totally safe on c7. And I think at this point with white, you're like, yo, I'm down 15 minutes to a 1500. I'm outrating this person by 500 points. Why have they not lost yet? And black is just in the game, and white is, you know, 13 minutes on the clock now. And, you know, black not making all the best moves, but enough good moves to make you start questioning everything. I did recently lose confidence in a tournament. And king b6 is a mistake, and actually, now white is winning, but she has 2 minutes. She has 2 minutes, and I think somewhere here she panics because knight e2 comes in, and this is losing. This is losing. What you do here is you take the rook is taken, and you don't trade the knights, but instead what you do is you play queen h4, and now this is winning. This is a nice move. It's not just about defense, it's also that this knight remains under attack, and if the bishop is taken, you have knight d5 check, cd, and you grab this rook. And the reason why this position is winning for white is the pawn. It's just the pawn. It's 2 squares away from queening. There is no time for black to, you know, create any sort of counterplay. Check here, f7. There is nothing. There is no check. It's not that easy to play that, though. I mean, chess is a hard game, and white with 2 minutes on the clock panics, plays rook e1. Now the advantage is gone, and now she does this, and she blunders checkmate. And black, up 20 minutes on the clock, finds the mate. Bishop, and she plays bishop f2, which is not even... Queen g1 is made in 1 move! Which shows you that, you know, despite winning the game, which she does in a few moves, she's still 1500, like... But she beats a 2105. That's crazy. She plays bishop f2. Good for her. You know, she played it very fast, actually. If you look at the time, if you subtract 30 seconds, she spent 8 seconds on this move. She spent 8 seconds because she was like, oh, queen g1 is mate. Bishop g3 is mate. But queen g1 was mate anyway. She just forgot about the pawn. I think even if the pawn was gone, you know, bishop f2 is forced mate. Like, if the position was... well, actually, if you take with a queen, I guess no. But yeah, you know, this is what I'm trying to do now because I'm a little bit bored. But yes, even if this pawn was gone, bishop f2 would be correct because then you know you would set up queen g1. Anyway, queen g1, and she finds this checkmate. She, you know, delays the game 4 moves, savors the moment. Crazy win. I mean, massive win. What can you say? Now, a game that was a game that got away. Trinidad and Tobago versus Uzbekistan, gold medalists of the Olympiad. Either the previous one or the one before it. I don't remember if China won the one 2 years ago. I think Uzbekistan are the defending champions. Nodirbek Yakuboyev is one of the best players from Uzbekistan. I mean, he's either number 3 or number 2. I don't remember where he ranks with Sindarov. Nodirbek, the other Nodirbek is the big Chad. He's 2760. So Quinn Cabales, listen, no disrespect to Quinn. I've never heard of Quinn Cabales in my life. Ever. I can name like 4 or 5 players from Trinidad because I've played them, and not only did I play them, I shared a car ride with them because we drove somewhere. I don't remember, maybe to a dinner. You know, they got Ryan Harper. He's the OG. They got Kevin Cupid. I've met Kevin Cupid a few times. Joshua Johnson, I played him in a tournament. They have Ramutar. They're number 1 right now. This young guy, he's strong, title player. McIntosh, Isaiah, I've played him on chess.com. I don't know who the hell Quinn Cabales is. No disrespect, and I don't mean to be like Stephen A. Smith with the Kwame Brown clip. Like, he's a bona fide scrub. I'm not saying that. Dude's obviously really good. Watch how he plays. Now I know who Quinn Cabales is. Okay, this is a Najdorf Sicilian. My man shows up with Rook G1. I mean, this is a gangster move. You're not gonna castle. You're trying to go G4. This is a thing. This is a thing. And very early in this game, Yakuboyev clearly, by the way, look, White gambiting a pawn against 2660 opponent. Early on, Yakuboyev just gets himself into a losing position. So he gives up the bishop, and White gets this like Caribbean spicy, you know, hot chow attack, if you will. You know, like castling rooks, pawns, knights, bishops. They like to attack there. They have a very fun style. And it only goes from bad to worse. Like, Black just gets a completely horrible position and plays d5. And the craziest thing about d5 is that you can just straight up take the pawn. So now you cannot take with the pawn or the knight. Black goes queen d6. Yakuboyev is down 30 minutes on the clock, and he's dead lost. Now here, White can actually sack on e6, and the game is over. You just take again. I think he didn't do that. He was maybe a little worried about castling. I get it. Well, guess what? If you're worried about castling, you can take with the knight, and then the game is really over. Basically, the line would go fe, bishop e6, queen e6, and now you move your queen, and you win the queen. Now, it doesn't really matter because you won the queen anyway, as you're going to find out. So bishop g3, Black ends up sacrificing some material, and I think later in this game, he was just straight up down a queen. So f6, beautiful move. The attack just completely doesn't stop. FG7, rook e8, and now knight e6. +7 for Quinn Cabales. Queen d1, king d1, knight e6, and the queen goes to h4. Black goes here, takes here. White is just up a queen. Just the queen. Now, he's also up a couple of pawns. Black has some pieces, right? Knight g7. Now, you actually can trade the rooks here. Normally, queen for 3 pieces is not winning, but when they're so scattered and when there's so many pawns around, they can't fight. There's no way they can do it. He plays queen g5, which is a good move. Plays rook e3. Suddenly, Yakuboyev starts kind of setting up some sort of semblance of a defense. White plays h5, Black plays rook e5, and, you know, okay, maybe you... And they just repeat moves. And I think Quinn was feeling the pressure here a little bit. I think that's what happened. I think Quinn was like happy to make the draw, which I get it, obviously. I understand. But yeah, Quinn was just winning the whole game. I mean, he played an amazing game. And at the end, obviously, he's happy to make the draw against 2700. But dude, that was a legendary game. I mean, Quinn played fantastic chess. And winning this would have taken 40 more moves. Because Black would not have gone down without a fight. He would have tried to fight, forever and ever and ever. He wouldn't have just easily lost. But yeah, this is a game that Quinn can be proud of. And now I know who Quinn Cabales is. Like I said, I never heard of this dude in my life. Unfortunately, I gotta cover Coach. I guess I'll save Coach for last. There's also this game. Again, Ahmed Al-Raili. This is a 2100 rated player from, I guess that's Saudi Arabia. And he played Bobby Chang, who is an Australian Grandmaster, 2600, very good player. And the This one also a Najdorf. These GMs gotta stop playing Najdorf. It shows you the level of understanding and the level of theoretical knowledge that is now available to people. This is a 2100 rated player, just like Quinn, by the way. Quinn was 2169. Yeah, 2169. Watch this game. Okay, in this game, White doesn't go for a crazy attack. He plays normal, f4, queen e1. He attacks the queen side, but clearly a level of hesitancy. Like, you know, White is not playing with the same level of confidence, and he's not losing. Rather, Black is not losing as early as he was in the Neuserbach game, right? In 16 minutes to 45, and, you know, White is just worse now. I mean, this is what normally happens when Grandmasters play 2100. Bobby plays DE, which is a mistake. And White now just plays beautiful chess. Bishop to b5. Bobby should have played knight to e5. Should have played knight e5, kept the pawn there, targeted this. Clearly he didn't like something. But now bishop b5 attacks the knight. The bishop goes here. And I don't know what Bobby missed. I think he tried to sacrifice a queen for content, basically. Like, he could have just went queen e8. And he defends, right? And he's fine. But he goes bishop b4, and I think he was trying to play for the audience. Bishop c6. Bishop c6. So he's giving up a queen. And I mean, I guess his point is like, he's threatening the rook. He's also threatening knight e4, rook d1, back rank checkmate. So rook a1, knight takes e4. This is probably everything he calculated. White now has 1 minute. So Bobby's got his opponent on the ropes. The problem is he misevaluated this position, and queen h4 happens. Bobby takes on c3. This is what he calculated. But what he had missed is that he accidentally forced his opponent into a desperate situation. Like, Bobby calculated all of this, and after bc, there's rook d1. But guess what? Now White sacrifices the bishop. And all of a sudden, all of Bobby's pieces are bad, and his back rank is, and White's back rank is protected. And when you take, not only is it a fork, it's also another fork. You fork into a fork. And Bobby Chang is just losing. He's losing. I mean, he was completely equal. He went for glory, and White keeps his nerves. Queen e4, bishop here, and now the last final touch. Rook d1 is mate. So before you take the bishop, you give a check and spot it. Look at this. 2100 level player keeps the nerves and has a queen and a knight for 2 rooks. It's completely winning. Queen for 2 rooks is not completely winning, but queen and a knight is. You give a check, and now we bring the knight back into the game, and there it goes. Knight e6, rook d1 is protected. Let's just make a luft. Knight e6 is a beautiful move. It doesn't even, the fork is not even prevented. Because after takes, there's this, and it's queen versus rook, and this is easily winning. You will take the pawn on a4, and he wins all the pawns. There's no more back rank mate, and now we give checks until we win all the pawns. And here Black simply resigned because he will end up losing all of his pieces, and Bobby Chang loses to 21-17. Ahmed Al-Raili. I mean, just amazing. Like, these players keeping their nerves with 1 minute on the clock. This is inspiring stuff. And Coach, Coach was unfortunately one of the bigger upsets. He was a 300-point swing here with Tajikistan, Latvia versus Tajikistan. By the way, White's teammate from Tajikistan in the next round, or maybe no, in the next round, defeated Siddharth Jagadish, Grandmaster from Singapore. So the Tajiks have come to play, man. They're like 2,200, but they are 27, 2,800 on chess.com. I play them a lot. Again, ELO is an illusion. The level of play might be a lot closer than we think. And the crazy thing is, Coach played the Leningrad Dutch, which is, I mean, he knows this opening extremely well. And White played rook b1, all kind of like normal stuff. a5, queen b3. Queen b3 is kind of a non-standard way to play because you just played rook b1. You want to go b4, but okay, your queen is there. Black played h6 and knight bd7. And here, okay, you could do a lot of things. You can play knight a6, knight c7. I don't really pretend to understand this opening that well, but okay, it doesn't really matter because, you know, White played d5, Artur's put his knight on c5, and now b4 is prevented by the a-pawn. And overall, the game was like very tense, and Black tried to advance. White played rook c1, Black played b6, very solid, h3, knight h5. And here, I think, was maybe the moment Artur's could have considered g5, g4, maybe g5, f4. f4 and making it a little bit more potent. He played knight h5, and around here, white just played exceptionally well. He trades off the bishop in the corner with bishop d4. He trades it off, so now black's king is weakened, which means that any future attacks are going to be hard to pull off. Plays knight d4. Artur's kind of continues the plan with knight h5, right? He plays f4. White just shuts the door on the king side, and then white fires back on the other side of the board. Excellent move, b4. And somehow the black position is already in dire straits. Takes, g5, b4. The knight has to get out. It goes to a6. And queen b2. And this very calm move, you just pause and you go, black has no more pawn momentum. He can't make any pawn play in the position. He tries, but now knight jumps into e6. Now the rook in the corner is hanging. And if you spend time moving it, like you play, I don't know, rook a7, first of all, I have rook a1 always. Second of all, knight d5, you're completely paralyzed. You just can't make a move. b6 is hanging. You can't make a move. Then I will start attacking over here as well. I'm going to start breaking apart these pawns. And yeah, this is just an incredible game from the young man from Tajikistan who ends up in exchange, doesn't panic, blocks the king, puts the knight in the center, and just and ready on the h-file. Look at this. Rook d2, rook h1, fantastic play. Excellent control of the game, never got low on time, right? He's always up on time. Queen c3 looking to go to the endgame, picking up pawns, targeting the pieces, and okay, here it's, again, now you get your bonus time, and rook e7, and yeah, coach just outplayed. I mean, it's wild stuff. 2283 beats 2570 GM. Amazing stuff. I'm gonna try to pronounce his name now. Mustafa Khuja Hussein Khojayev. Brawlic name. I mean, my goodness, that's a tough one. A lot of F's, a lot of K's, a lot of H's from Tajikistan, and excellent game. And listen, I will continue to post stuff here. I mean, there's so many incredible games from the Olympiad. Let it serve as some sort of inspiration that ELO is a number. It's an illusion. ELO is just, you know, it really doesn't mean too much. As you can see here, so many players outclassed by 300, 400, 500 points, completely dominating their higher ELO opposition, more experienced opposition that has played, like in a game like this, Quinn Cabales might have played 5 people in his entire life higher rated than like 23, 2400. Nojibek has played like the best players in the world. He's played Magnus, Hikaru, Fabiano, all those guys. He's played all the Indian superstars. He's played everybody. Look at this, right? I mean, it's amazing. It's just really, really cool to see. So, yeah, I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to follow the games of the Olympiad on the chess.com events page. And obviously, main channel coverage will have all the premieres, like Magnus, etc. But I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll post some more stuff on this channel. Get out of here.